Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the AnzenGuard podcast. I'm Michael Reynolds.
And I'm Laura Wilson.
And we are so glad to have you back for another deep dive into the world of internet tech.
That's right.
You know, today we are going to be talking about something that I think a lot of people get frustrated with, which is you're trying to go online, you're trying to access some content, and you can't.
Yeah.
Because of where you are.
Absolutely.
And it's like, what the heck?
It is so frustrating.
So we're going to be talking about DNS, smart DNS, and VPNs.
Yes, the power trio.
And by the end of this deep dive, you will have the knowledge to choose the right tool for a smoother and more secure online experience.
Exactly.
So, Laura,
Yeah.
where do we even begin?
Well, I think we should start with DNS,
Okay.
which stands for Domain Name System.
Okay.
And basically think of it as the internet's phone book.
Yeah, I'm good.
So you know how we use like google.com instead of having to remember these long strings of numbers?
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, I can barely remember my own phone number.
Exactly. So DNS translates those user-friendly domain names like google.com into IP addresses, which are those numerical labels computers use to identify each other.
Okay.
So every time you type a website address into your browser, DNS is working behind the scenes, connecting you to the right server.
So it's like the glue that holds the internet together.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Without it, we'd be stuck navigating the web using those clunky numerical IP addresses.
Oh, man, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, definitely not user-friendly.
No, not at all.
So here's where things get a little bit interesting.
Okay.
You know how your internet service provider, or ISP, typically assigns you a default DNS server?
Yeah, the one that comes pre-configured, right?
Exactly.
What's the deal with that?
So while your ISP's DNS server does get the job done,
Okay.
it might not be the fastest or most private option out there.
Really?
Yeah, think of it this way. Using your ISP's DNS server can be like taking the scenic route, while custom DNS servers are like hopping on the expressway.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Yeah, so custom DNS servers, like the popular ones from Google, that's 8.8.8.8.
Okay.
And Cloudflare 1.1.1.1.
Got it.
They have these really robust infrastructures with servers located all over the world, meaning your requests are routed through a server that's closer to you, resulting in much speedier connections.
So websites load faster.
Yes.
Got it.
And there's actually an added layer of security that comes with some custom DNS servers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called DNSSEC, which stands for Domain Name System Security Extensions.
Okay.
And it's basically a set of protocols that verify you're actually connecting to the real website.
Oh, wow.
And not some sneaky fake site set up by hackers.
So it's like a bodyguard for my DNS requests.
Exactly.
Making sure I don't end up on some malicious website.
Exactly, precisely.
Okay.
So DNSSEC uses digital signatures to authenticate DNS data.
Okay.
So you can be more confident that you're reaching the legitimate website, which helps protect you from things like phishing attacks and other DNS-related threats.
That's awesome. So faster browsing and better security. I'm starting to see the appeal of these custom DNS servers.
Definitely.
But you mentioned earlier that ISP-provided DNS might not be the most private.
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
So here's the thing.
Okay.
Your ISP can actually keep tabs on your online activity through your DNS requests.
Really?
Yeah, so they can see every website you visit.
Well, that's kind of creepy.
It can be a bit unsettling.
Yeah, for sure. So what can we do about that?
Well, there are definitely ways to enhance your privacy, and that's where smart DNS and VPNs come into play.
Okay.
So smart DNS is a really clever technology that can help you access geo-blocked content.
Okay.
You know, like when you're trying to watch a show and it says this content is not available in your region.
Yes, so frustrating.
Yeah, so smart DNS can help with that.
How does it work?
It's pretty ingenious, actually. So smart DNS uses a combination of DNS and proxy servers to reroute your traffic through a server in a different region.
Okay.
So let's say you want to access a streaming service that's only available in the UK.
Okay.
Smart DNS would redirect your DNS requests through a proxy server in the UK, making it look like you're actually browsing from the UK.
Oh, sneaky.
And just like that, you can unlock those geo-restricted shows and movies.
That's so cool.
It is pretty neat.
Are there any downsides to that approach?
Well, while smart DNS is great for bypassing those pesky location blocks, it's important to remember that it doesn't offer the same level of privacy protection as a VPN.
Okay.
So smart DNS focuses on rerouting specific DNS requests, but it doesn't encrypt your entire internet traffic or hide your IP address.
Oh, okay.
So your ISP could still technically see what you're doing online, even if you're using smart DNS.
Oh, so they might not know like the specifics, but they would know the websites. Okay, so if I really wanted to, like, lock it all down and make sure that nobody knew what I was doing, then I would need to go with a VPN.
Exactly. That's where VPNs or virtual private networks come in.
Okay, let's talk VPNs.
Yes.
I think I have a decent idea of what they are, but like, how do they work? Can you just break it down for me?
Absolutely. So think of a VPN like a secret tunnel for your internet traffic.
Okay.
So when you connect to a VPN, it creates an encrypted connection between your device and the VPN server.
Got it.
And this encryption basically scrambles your data.
Okay.
So it makes it virtually unreadable to anyone trying to snoop.
So even my ISP can't see?
Even your ISP.
Oh, wow.
It makes it much harder for anyone to track your activity or intercept sensitive information.
So it's like putting on a disguise for my internet traffic.
Exactly.
I love that.
It's like wrapping your data in this super secure package that only the intended recipient can open.
Got it.
So this is really great for privacy-conscious users.
But if it's encrypting all my traffic, wouldn't that slow down my internet speed?
That's a really common concern.
Okay.
And it is true that VPNs can sometimes introduce a slight slowdown because of the encryption process.
Yeah.
However, with a reputable VPN provider that has a robust network of servers, the impact on your speed is often minimal.
Okay, so it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
I can give up a little bit of speed for a lot of privacy.
Exactly. And there's so many situations where VPN can be incredibly valuable.
Like when?
Well, if you're connecting to public Wi-Fi, which is often unsecured,
a
VPN can add that much-needed layer of protection.
Okay.
Because it prevents hackers from snooping on your data while you're on that public Wi-Fi.
And that's good. I always get paranoid about using public Wi-Fi.
And it's not just about security.
Okay.
VPNs can also help you bypass censorship in countries where internet access is restricted.
Oh, wow.
So it's a powerful tool for maintaining your online freedom and accessing the information you need.
So it seems like we have smart DNS for unblocking content and VPNs for overall privacy and security. Each tool has its strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
So choosing the right tool really depends on your own needs and priorities.
Exactly.
But we're going to take a quick break.
Yes.
And when we come back,
Part 2,
we are going to explore custom DNS servers in a lot more detail, and we'll discuss some of the most reputable options.
That was good.
See you soon.
See you there. Welcome back, everyone, to the AnzenGuard podcast.
Part 2.
We're continuing our deep dive into DNS, smart DNS, and VPNs.
All right, so
Before the break, we were talking about how those custom DNS servers can really boost your browsing speed and your online security.
yeah, those custom DNS servers sound pretty interesting. You mentioned they can make browsing faster.
Yes.
Like, how much faster are we talking?
It can be significant.
Really?
Yeah, it's not just shaving off a few milliseconds here and there.
Okay.
Studies have shown that using custom DNS servers like Cloudflare's 1.1.1 can significantly decrease DNS lookup times. We're talking up to 28% faster in some cases.
Wow, 28%.
Yeah, which means quicker page loads, especially if you're a heavy internet user constantly hopping between websites.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And it's not just about speed.
Okay.
Some custom DNS servers offer an extra layer of security with DNS SCC.
Right, domain name system security extensions.
Right.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
But we talked about how DNS SEC can help prevent you from landing on those fake websites set up by hackers.
Yeah, it's like a security checkpoint for your DNS requests.
Exactly. So it's kind of like having a guarantee that I'm connecting to the real deal.
Right.
Not some imposter site.
Exactly. I like that.
And this added layer of security is especially important these days.
Yeah.
With all the phishing scams and online threats lurking around.
Right, absolutely.
So speed, security,
yeah.
What else?
Are there any other advantages? Anything that our listeners might be surprised about?
Yeah, so some custom DNS servers offer content filtering options.
Oh, really? Yeah, this can be really great for families. Or anyone who just wants more control over the content they see online.
Okay, so how does content filtering work with custom DNS servers?
So let's say you want to block access to certain types of websites on your home network.
Okay.
Maybe you're concerned about adult content or gambling websites or even just too much social media use.
Okay.
You can actually configure your custom DNS server to filter out those categories of websites.
Okay.
Creating a safer or more focused online environment.
So it's like a built-in internet guardian angel.
Exactly.
I love it.
It's a really powerful tool for parents who want to manage their kids' online experience.
Yeah.
Or even individuals who just want to minimize distractions and boost their productivity.
Yeah, makes sense.
Of course, no technology is perfect.
Right.
So there are a couple things to keep in mind when considering custom DNS servers.
Okay, let's talk about the potential downsides.
Yeah.
What should our listeners be aware of?
Well, firstly, it's important to choose a reputable provider because not all custom DNS servers are created equal.
Okay.
Some might be slower or less reliable than others.
So do your research.
Exactly. Just like you would with any other online service.
Okay.
Look for providers with solid track records, positive reviews,
Got it.
good reputation for speed, reliability, and security.
Okay, makes sense.
Second, setting up a custom DNS server is usually a bit more technical than just sticking with your ISP's default option.
Right.
It typically involves tweaking your device's network settings.
It's probably not rocket science, but it might require a little bit of tech savviness.
It's not super complicated, but you will need to be comfortable navigating those settings.
Okay.
But don't worry.
Okay.
There are tons of helpful guides and tutorials available online, and most reputable custom DNS providers offer clear instructions on their websites.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we know that custom DNS servers can be faster,
Yes,
more secure, and even help us filter content. But for our listeners who are thinking about making the switch, what are some of the most popular and trustworthy custom DNS servers out there?
Good question.
So let's start with the heavy hitters.
Okay.
You've got Google Public DNS, probably the most well-known option.
Okay.
They have servers all over the globe.
Okay.
So you're likely to get a speedy connection wherever you are.
Okay.
And it's free.
Always a plus.
Another top contender is Cloudflare's 1.1.1.1.
Okay, Cloudflare, yeah.
They boast about being the fastest public DNS resolver out there.
Okay.
And they're big on privacy, too.
Oh.
They have a strict no-logging policy,
Okay.
so they don't track your browsing activity.
Gotcha.
Which is a major plus for privacy-conscious folks.
For sure.
So Google and Cloudflare, the big giants.
Okay.
But are there any smaller,
Yeah.
more specialized custom DNS servers
Yeah.
that cater to specific needs?
Good question.
Yeah. There's a whole world of niche DNS servers out there. For example, OpenDNS, which is owned by Cisco, is known for its top-notch security features and parental controls.
Okay. So that sounds like a good option for families.
It is.
Especially with younger kids.
Especially with younger kids. And they offer both free and paid plans, depending on how much control and protection you're looking for.
Makes sense.
And then there's Quad9.
Okay.
A nonprofit focused on online safety.
Okay.
Their public DNS service is all about blocking malicious websites that can infect your device with malware or try to steal your data.
So Quad9 is like the neighborhood watch of the DNS world.
You could say that.
I like that.
They also have a cool feature called DNS Script,
Okay.
which encrypts your DNS queries, adding that extra layer of privacy protection.
Oh, cool.
So many options to choose from.
Yeah, it sounds a little overwhelming.
It can be.
For someone who's just starting to explore all of this, is there a simple way to figure out if making the switch is right for me?
I think the most simple approach is just to think about your needs and your priorities.
Okay.
Are you happy with your current browsing speeds?
Okay.
Or are you constantly waiting for pages to load?
Okay.
Are you concerned about online security and privacy?
Okay.
Or are those not major concerns for you?
So identify my pain points.
Yeah.
Like the things that bug me about my internet.
Exactly.
Oh.
Once you have a clear understanding of what you're hoping to improve, then you can start researching different custom DNS providers.
Makes sense.
There are tons of resources online, reviews, comparisons, even speed tests.
Okay.
And you can check out our show notes where we'll link to some of the providers we mentioned today.
Awesome.
So do your homework, read reviews,
Okay.
and see if those features and benefits of custom DNS align with your needs.
Perfect. Well, Laura, this has been super informative.
Thank you.
I think our listeners now have a much better grasp on the world of custom DNS servers and how they can enhance their online experience.
I hope so.
But for now, let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about the why.
Yeah.
In part 3, we're going to delve into the how.
Okay, the step-by-step.
We're going to walk you through how to set up a custom DNS server on your device.
Sounds good.
Can't wait.
See you there. Welcome back to the AnzenGuard podcast. We've been exploring the world of DNS, smart DNS, and VPNs. In part 2, we talked all about those custom DNS servers.
Yeah, and how they can be a real game changer for speed, security.
Even filtering out content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's time to get a little hands-on.
Yeah, let's dive into the how.
Yeah, we're going to walk you through the process of actually setting up a custom DNS server on your devices.
All right, where do we begin?
Well, the good news is that the process is pretty similar across different devices.
Okay.
The key is finding those network settings where you can input those custom DNS server addresses.
Okay, so let's say I'm on my computer.
Okay.
I'm on Windows. Okay, on a Windows machine, you'll want to head over to your Network and Sharing Center.
Okay.
You can usually find this by right-clicking on the network icon in your system tray down by the clock.
Got it.
Once you're in the Network and Sharing Center, you'll click on Change Adapter Settings.
All right.
This brings up a list of all your network connections, whether it's Wi-Fi or Ethernet.
Okay.
Right-click on the one you're currently using and select Properties.
Gotcha.
You'll see a list of items.
Okay.
You'll scroll down until you find Internet Protocol version 4, TCP/IPv4.
Oh, yeah.
That's a mouthful, I know.
Yeah.
You'll select that
Okay.
and click on Properties again.
All right.
And now you've reached the heart of the operation.
Okay, I'm excited.
You'll see two options. Obtain an IP address automatically.
Okay.
And use the following DNS server addresses
Okay.
to set up a custom DNS you want to choose. Use the following DNS server addresses.
And that's where I would put those addresses,
Right.
like 8.8.8.8 for Google.
Yeah.
Or 1.1.1.1 for Cloudflare.
You got it.
Okay, easy enough.
You enter the preferred DNS server address in the first field,
Yeah.
and then the alternate DNS server address in the second field.
Okay, so we've got two just in case.
Just in case one server is unavailable.
Gotcha. All right, and what about Mac users?
For Mac, it's just as straightforward.
Yeah.
Head to System Preferences and click on Network.
Okay.
Select your active network connection,
Oh, yeah.
whether it's Wi-Fi or Ethernet, and then click on Advanced.
Yep.
And then you'll navigate to the DNS tab to add your custom DNS servers.
Okay.
You'll click the little plus button at the bottom of the DNS servers list.
Okay.
Enter those preferred and alternate DNS server addresses there.
Okay, just like on Windows.
Exactly. And
No.
click OK, and then apply to save your changes.
Oh, done.
All right, so we've got computers covered.
Yeah.
What about phones and tablets?
Yeah. Or like my smart TV.
Yeah.
How do I change those?
So the process can be a bit different, depending on the device and operating system.
Makes sense.
But the general idea is the same.
Okay.
You're basically hunting for those network settings
Okay.
where you can manually add those DNS server addresses.
All right, so I might have to do a little digging.
Yeah, a quick Google search for how to change BNS settings on your device name will usually do the trick.
Gotcha.
And you'll find lots of helpful guides and tutorials.
All right, so what if I want to set it up for my entire home network
Absolutely.
so that every device is using the same custom DNS server?
You can do that. You'll
Learn-
need to configure those DNS settings on your router.
Okay, and how do I do that?
You access your router's settings,
Okay.
which you usually do by typing its IP address
Okay.
into your web browser.
Okay.
The IP address is often something like 192.168.168.0.1 or 192.168.0.1
Okay.
or 192.168.0.1. You can usually find this printed on the router itself,
Okay.
but you will need a login and password.
Which is probably also on the router.
Exactly, usually on a sticker.
Okay, and once I'm in those settings, where do I find the DNS settings?
It can vary a little bit
Okay,
depending on the brand and model of your router,
makes sense.
but it's typically under a section like Network Settings or WAN Setup
Right.
or DHCP Server.
Got it.
Look for fields labeled DNS Server
Okay.
or Primary DNS or Secondary DNS,
Got it.
and just input those preferred and alternate DNS server addresses.
Okay.
Save your changes.
Boom, and I'm good to go.
And that applies to all your connected devices.
So much easier than doing it individually.
Definitely.
So whether it's a computer, smartphone, or my entire home network, setting up custom DNS servers is definitely doable.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Any other final tips before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, just a couple things to keep in mind.
Okay,
Always make a note of your original DNS settings
Okay.
before you make changes.
so I can go back if I need to.
Exactly. And second, if you run into any snags or have questions,
Yeah.
don't hesitate to reach out to your ISP or the custom DNS provider
Those Stars.
for support.
Yeah, they should be able to help.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, this has been incredibly enlightening.
It has.
We've learned so much about DNS, custom DNS servers, smart DNS, VPNs,
Yes.
how to set everything up.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for sharing your expertise with us, Laura.
Of course.
That wraps up our deep dive into DNS, smart DNS, and VPNs.
Yeah.
I'm Michael Reynolds.
I'm Laura Wilson.
You've been listening to the AnzenGuard podcast.
Thanks for tuning in.
If you found this episode insightful and helpful, please consider subscribing to our podcast.
Yes.
And don't forget to like, comment, and share it with your friends.
We appreciate your support.
Stay safe online, everyone.